There we go. All right, now we're ready to go. Hi, my name is Mario Garcia, and I am the CEO of Lighting Up Ventures. Our company is an impact innovation company. So we help technology companies to define their product, to find their right market fit, and then to begin executing their initial market entry activities until they find their first customer. So for today's event, we are doing this in preparation for NextRise. During NextRise, that's coming up next week, there are going to be many corporations, there are going to be many investors. It's this very large conference. It's one of the most exciting conferences here in Korea. And we wanted to have a session today to help some of the companies know and understand how they can make the best of this opportunity. One of the attendees that we have here today is Jacob. Hi, Jacob. Jacob, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Sorry.
So Jacob, we were talking briefly at the beginning of the session that you are going to be participating in NextRise. Do you have a booth at the conference?
Oh no, we don't have any booth.
So you are just participating as a general attendee, right?
Yep, and we have couple of meeting in the domestic companies.
Okay, so those are already set up because Kita had a registration process to try to meet with domestic or foreign companies, right? So you've got a
Right.
couple of meetings with domestic companies. For your company, are you trying to meet with foreign companies as well?
Yeah, we were trying to um make any meetup with the foreign companies, but we just all the failed. Yes.
Okay, well, I'll say, okay, you were not selected, but that doesn't mean you failed. And this is one of the
Yeah.
reasons that we really wanted to host this session today. Um, for many entrepreneurs that are early in their career, and especially here in Korea, there is this feeling or this idea that if you want to meet somebody at a conference, you should apply to the program and get accepted to the program. And if you fail the program, now you don't have any chance. And that's actually not true. That's not the way it works. Um, in this conference, it doesn't matter that you didn't get selected because a lot of the participants coming from as investors or a lot of the participants coming in as corporations, they do want to meet new people. And it's up to you to be able to pitch to them. And that's why we're holding this pitching workshop. How do you take this unstructured and unscheduled approach to a company executive or to an investor, especially in a high profile conference like this? So if you didn't get selected in that pre-selection process, but you would like to meet the foreign investors or foreign companies to do business with, then it does not mean you failed so far. It just means you have to set up the right type of message and the right type of strategy to be able to connect with them during the conference, give them a great pitch that they will understand, and then from there, set yourself up to have follow-up meetings or any other activity. So just a little bit about myself. I've been living in Korea for about 10 years. I'm married, and these are my two kids. That's Skylar and Caroline. They're 9 years old in Korean age, 9 years old and 6 years old. So I've been living in Korea for quite some time. I'm not fluent in Korean, but I can get around with some of the basic things. And I first came here because I was doing research in astrophysics at Sejong University. And at that time, what I had started to notice was that the technologies that we had in the lab, um, they were far more advanced than the technologies that we could see in the market. And for that reason, I started to feel that I could take all of this knowledge that I have about science and technology. Um, it's really interesting because a field like gaming or 3D graphics, a lot of the original mathematics for that actually came from astronomy and astrophysics. When we were trying to figure out how do you look at a point of light and how do we use that point of light and the small changes that you see to create a three-dimensional picture. So it's kind of like if you think about computer graphics, astronomy is the other way around. In computer graphics, you try to project a three-dimensional picture, but astronomy had to do it the other way around. We see this flat sky, and we had to figure out, we had to find a lot of tricks about analyzing and processing light to try to create like a three-dimensional map of the world. So what's really interesting is that around 2001, when I was, before I came to Korea, around 2001, NVIDIA released their first GPU. You used to have gaming video cards, but they released the first GPU that was programmable. And a lot of people don't know this yet, but one of the very first places to apply like programmable shaders for computer graphics in a professional setting was astronomy and astrophysics, because they were like, oh my God, we've been doing a lot of serial calculations, and now we need to do that. Now we have the opportunity to do parallel processing. They were some of the first to also apply like AI algorithms as well when they came out, because the amount of data that we have to process in astrophysics is immense. And the tools and the techniques are very similar to what you have on household computers that have like these 3D graphic chips. So I was thinking, hey, look at these, look at these smartphones. The iPhone had come out. You had these programmable shaders on what were becoming more and more powerful GPUs. So I decided to switch and change from astrophysics to business school. And that's how I ended up at Yonsei University to do my MBA. Hi, are you here for the pitch workshop? Come in, come in. Yeah, it started, but you can go ahead and come in. It's not a big audience. Come in, come in. Have a seat. Hi. You can have a seat at however long you want to check it out. And we've got some people online. So I was just going through my basic introduction. And yeah, just feel free to have a seat, check it out for a little while. What's your name?
Park.
Okay, Park. And are you going to be attending Next Rise?
No, I'm with Kita. So,
Oh, you're one of the people from Kita. So you work with Miran.
I'm the other department.
Okay, but in the same, okay, great.
The same company. I'll just check it out.
Yeah, just check it out for a little while. We have some people online, and we're just, yeah, just feel free to hang around a little bit, and then we can, yeah. Okay, so I was just going through my presentation. Where was I? Oh, yes. So I ended up at going to Yonsei University after I had started a PhD in astrophysics at Sejong, but then I went to Yonsei to get my MBA because I started to notice that we could use these really powerful technologies for commercial purposes. After I graduated from Yonsei, I tried to do a technology startup. Things didn't really work out, unfortunately. Let's just say I learned a lot. And after we were about to close down the company, there was a conference by MIT. And I met the director of the Entrepreneurship Center. And I talked to him about some of the challenges that we had been trying to go through in setting up a company here in Korea. So what he mentioned was that at that time, there was an executive program at MIT to help regions build ecosystems. They would take one person from government, from corporations, from VCs, from universities, and from entrepreneurs. So with Sogang University and the Ministry of Finance and LG and KT, and from representatives of those organizations and myself, we did a 2 years long program at MIT to really learn how to build startup ecosystems. And my learning, what I learned from that is that really the reason I couldn't get my startup going was because I just had no idea what I was doing. And once we got exposed to the methods that they have at MIT, we were able to, we were able to try to understand what it was that we had done wrong. So this picture is a 3D rendering of the first product that we had developed. So as you saw in the previous picture, I was doing a lot of research in astrophysics. We were analyzing data from satellites, and a lot of the materials that you have to protect satellites or the fabrics that you use on spacesuits, it's actually really common fabrics that are very cheap to buy here on Earth. They're really expensive once you want to put them up on a rocket for a huge science experiment. But the basic fabrics that you have that help to control the temperature and keep things comfortable, they are really, really light and really cost effective. So this is the first product that we designed, which was a crib for a baby. And we had first started to design this because you had many uh, parents wanted to have this kind of like safe and comfortable sleeping space away from mosquitoes. If you turn on the air conditioner in a room, it always gets too cold. You're always switching between being too cold and too hot. And I was like, well, you know what? We've already solved this problem, and we can install some basic sensors, a small cooling system, and the fabric that you see there around that 3D rendering, that's made out of a nylon with some mylar, which is this kind of like shiny fabric. And that stuff is really cheap to make, and it helps to keep the temperature inside very, very comfortable. So instead of feeling like these swings between the air conditioner is on and you feel cold, and then the air conditioner is off and you start sweating, it just helps to keep your temperature, kind of buffered. So we designed this really fancy system, and we never had a prototype. And the trap that we fell into was that we kept on adding, before we had the first working product, we were going to pitch competitions. We actually came to NextRise, sorry, not NextRise. NextRise wasn't there yet, but we came to conferences here at COEX and DCamp. And every time that we pitched, and this is one of the things that I really want to get through here. You have to be careful when you pitch, especially when you pitch at a tech conference. Every time that we pitched, people would ask us for technology features. Especially if we wanted to win the competition, we had to keep on increasing how fancy and how sophisticated our system would be. But then the problem was that the more fancy and the more sophisticated that we make the system to win the competition, the more difficult it becomes to actually build it, and the more expensive it becomes at retail, which means that it's also that much more difficult to sell. And this is one of the things that I learned when I was doing this program at MIT that we had done wrong, which was don't make it as fancy and as sophisticated as possible. Make it as simple as you can to achieve your first sale. Start selling, start getting customers to buy, and then you can use your profits and your market momentum to add features slowly over time. So this is the MIT REAP, the Regional Entrepreneurship Acceleration Program. And you can see that we are all the way over here. That little pink one is Korea. So that was our cohort that participated in 2012. By now, they have had many cohorts in different countries. So the first lesson was that I was doing the wrong thing as an entrepreneur. This map taught me the second lesson. And the second lesson is that Korea has everything you need in terms of resources in a way that other countries don't. When we were there with some of the other countries, a lot of the issues that they had was that they needed to start building a strong national program for R&D. If you want to do innovation, you need R&D at the university level. And it turns out that Korea is already one of the top countries in R&D spending and in patenting. Another thing that you really need to have is you need to have strong financial support for early stage companies. And it turns out that Korea is the #1 country in the world for support to early stage companies from the government, from public money. That's actually a surprising fact. Korea is actually #1 in the world for the amount of support that they provide to early stage companies from the government. No other country has so many supports and so much incentive. But then Korea has other problems. Korea does not have a lot of venture capital. There's huge government support, but venture capital is a little bit light. And up until very recently, Korea did not have huge IPOs. And that is something that is really starting to change. We've got Coupang, we've got the Match.com acquisition. We've actually had Sendbird, a Korean company. Notably though, Sendbird had to move to the States, but they are now doing really, really well. So Korea has some very strong support at the early stage in terms of financing, an incredible amount of R&D support for new technologies. But somehow a lot of startups, including ourselves, were kind of like getting stuck. And so what we realize is that, yes, there does need to be improvements to the ecosystem, but more than anything, what needs to improve is the entrepreneurs themselves. And this is where this pitch workshop comes in. If these resources are available in the Korean market, it doesn't have to be the government that tells you how to use the resources. You're the one that has to come up and you're the one that has to pitch. And so the NextRise conference provides this really, really nice space with thousands of people participating, hundreds of companies, dozens of large corporations. How many investors is it? Is it close to like 100 investors are going to be there, right? I think there's a really, really large number of investors and investor meetings. And all of the resources are there. The missing ingredient are entrepreneurs that have a great pitch that is attached to a tangible plan that they can execute with these resources to actually enter the market. So we visited a place in Boston called Langer Lab. Langer Lab is maybe you're not gonna know it, but that's the lab where the technology for the Moderna vaccine was invented. Bob Langer sits on the scientific advisory board. He was one of the co-founders of Moderna. And by the way, he's also on the scientific advisory board of a Korean company at Hanyang University. So he's very prolific. And when we were at this lab, I noticed one of the very big differences in the startup ecosystem in Korea and the startup ecosystem in the United States. So Matthew Weber, that was one of the postdocs, he said, you know what? The great thing about working in this lab is that if I have an idea for my research and I pitch it to Bob, he'll tell me, all right, you do it, and then you tell me what you need. If I have an idea for a company, Bob will tell me, all right, you do it, and tell me what you need. And this is something that, you know, from my own experience when I was doing my, PhD level work, and I've worked with a lot of research universities, and that's something that I noticed is a little bit different here in Korea. You don't have the PhD students proposing an idea and then getting the support from the institution. In Korea, traditionally, it works the other way around. You know, the head of the research lab or the professor has an idea, and if they feel like giving you their idea, they'll let you do it. And socially, I think for entrepreneurs that are here today and coming to a place like NextRise, they are very used to, they very commonly feel, I shouldn't do anything unless they let me do it. So Jacob, we were talking about this earlier. I should, a lot of people feel like, oh, I didn't get accepted to the one-on-one matchings by Kita, then I failed and I'll have an opportunity. And that's just not true. Just because you weren't selected does not mean that you won't find people that are willing to support you. And even though it's true that at Langer Lab is this very special place, I have seen many research centers in Korea where the researchers are also like that. And I've seen many research centers in the United States where they are not like that. So it's not like people think, oh my God, it's an America versus Korea kind of thing. No, it's not. It's about navigating your ecosystem and finding the right kind of people that will give you the right kind of support. Oh, there's no great investors in Korea. Yes, there are. Altos Ventures. Altos Ventures invested in Coupang. Altos Ventures, what was the one that was bought by Match.com? What was their name? I just forgot it. They were purchased for like hundreds of millions of dollars. The Match Group just made a major acquisition. Altos Ventures was also in there. Altos Ventures is a great VC, and he'll say straight up, come to me after you've made first sales. I want to see traction in the market with your product. He has a very clear description of what they invest in, and then he'll, get him on board, and he takes companies all the way to, he helps work with the CEO for the CEO to take the company all the way to an IPO. So we do have great investors here. We do have great corporations. Hyundai will have a huge open innovation space. And they are great about hearing pitches from entrepreneurs. So we do have great corporations. We do have great investors. We do have great universities. You just need to navigate the ecosystem and learn how to pitch so that you can find the right type of resources. From these lessons, we actually built our own mentoring program. A problem that we find with a lot of the entrepreneurs is that they are always pitching for money. They have this wrong idea. If I pitch to an investor, if I pitch to Han Kim from Altos Ventures and he likes my pitch, he will build my company. Wrong. You build your company. Investors only provide the capital. They only provide the money. And you need to do more than just build a technology product. You need to have a lot of things done. You need to make your own executive summary and pitch deck. I'll just go through the 5 overall themes and you can see the rest of the bullet points. So you need to have all of your business basics. You as an entrepreneur, you need to build your business. You need to get your accounting. You need to get your legal stuff done properly. Your investor will not define your product and your market for you. They want you to come talk to them once you defined your product and your market. You need to do your own product development, and then you come to an investor telling them why you need money for more product development that you have already validated. You need to do your market development. This bottom left one is the one that a lot of companies really don't pay attention to. Interview your customers for their need. Pitch to your customers. That's one of the most important pitches you could have. If you are going to be at NextRise, don't spend all 2 days trying to pitch investors for money. Find a company that could be your customer. Find a person, because everybody there is representing a company, but they also have their own lives. And you might find actual customers there. Pitch to your customers and try to understand how well your solution fits their needs. Build up your website, have meetups, build up your blog, your email, your social media. An investor will not invest in you if they don't see that you already have a great social media presence. You might not have a massive presence with millions of followers on a corporate level, but your own personal brand, if your own personal brand is not strong on social media, a good investor will say, this person does not know how to do sales and marketing. And they will stop for 1 second and they will slow down. Because here's another interesting truth that I found while I was at, during the time that I was doing research at MIT. Sorry, not doing research, when I was doing that executive education program. People think that product development is 90% of your costs, and then business development is like 9% of your costs, and then that marketing should just be 1%. Oh yeah, we'll have a great product and a great company with a lot of partnerships, and then all we have to do is sign an MOU and everybody will love us. All we have to do is get selected for one conference and do a presentation, take a good picture, and everybody will love us. And it turns out that it is way the other side around. Mark Hurd, the CEO from Hewlett Packard, said that with innovation, it is 1% your technology development, 9% your product development, and 90% of your effort to release an innovation into the market is going to be your market development. Sales and marketing is really expensive when you're launching a new product into the world. If you are a small team with your co-founders, you might not have a sales and marketing budget. You might not have sales and marketing people that you hired, but on your own personal time, sales, marketing, and customer discovery has to be a significant part of the effort. And the interesting thing about that is that if you are great at sales and marketing, you can actually sell the product, get cash for the product, and build the product using your customers' cash. And this is how a lot of great American technology companies got started. Um, Microsoft is a great example. Bill Gates' first contract, it was all based off of business development and market development. He went, he told IBM, hey, IBM, I'll deliver the system to you. He got them to pay up front. And then he used the money that IBM had paid up front to go buy the software code from another company that had already built it. He purchased the code outright, but then he sold a license to IBM. And that's like how Microsoft got started. Microsoft got started not off of a technology, they got started as a business deal. And technology purists today will tell you how much they still think Windows sucks. From a technology perspective, it's a tough system to use and it has so many problems and this and that. But guess what? Their market development has been spectacular. With an inferior technology, they became the dominant computing company for many decades in the world. Are they still dominant? Not in personal computing, but in the enterprise sector, yes. 0% of corporations are going to get away from Microsoft anytime. So this is what was really interesting, and this is what we want to encourage people when you go to NextRise. Don't just be thinking money, 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 money. Be thinking about customers, 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 and then find a good investor and tell them, these are the customers I'm reaching out to. This is the feedback that they gave me. These are some early customers that we got them to pay, even though we don't have any money. And now I actually need your money to help me deliver on this product and scale into the market. So I would say, I mean, to me, this picture is this is like the biggest image that shows a difference between what I normally see in conferences in a place like Boston and what I normally see in conferences here in Korea. And we're doing a little bit of this right now through my introduction, right? Here in Korea, when you go to a conference, usually the emphasis is on a keynote speaker. I'm here, I'm on the stage, I'm the one that is talking. And what do? You sit there and you listen. And you listen to the opportunities that I want to offer to you, that I want to propose to you, and you do the things that are interesting to me. You know, this is kind of like the typical interaction that I see in a conference. What happens in a place like Boston, where where they have a very, very vibrant and very active ecosystem? What happens is that the emphasis is not on the speakers and the keynote speakers. In a place like Boston, the emphasis is on the networking. Yes, the speakers are inspirational. Yes, they will say some interesting things, but once they get off of the stage, they will move into the crowd and start talking to the crowd and start building up, you know, interesting business opportunities with the people who are there. And what you do in this crowd is that you are not trying to be really loud and getting everybody to notice you. What you are doing in this crowd is that you are navigating and you're trying to find the right kind of people that match what you are trying to do, that are interested in your idea, that have some resources. Maybe they could be your customer, maybe they could be your co-founder, maybe they could be a business partner, maybe they could be an investor. And you move through the crowd, you network, and you pitch. You pitch your idea, and you pitch what are the problems that you're currently facing. And with that, then you start putting the puzzle pieces together so that you can actually build your own startup, your own project, your own product that you're working on. So today, although we are covering some very basic elements of pitching, you probably really want to have this larger idea of what are all of the pieces that you need to put together to really build a robust company. And I really recommend this book. It's called Disciplined Entrepreneurship by Bill Ollett. Bill Ollett is the director of the Entrepreneurship Center at MIT. And he has been a successful entrepreneur himself before becoming a professor. And he now has decades of experience building technology companies and teaching and training people to become entrepreneurs to build their own companies. So in this book, he put pretty much all of his experience of what are the key steps that you need to get an idea off the ground. So I really recommend that you buy this book. It has 6 themes and 24 steps. And in those 24 steps, you will start to notice what are the things that you need to do. And each of those steps give you an idea of the pitches that you can have, of what your next steps are, what resources you need, what kind of help you need, so that you can continue building up your company. Okay, Jacob, do you have any questions so far?
None.
Okay, so for NextRise, it is a conference, and a conference is a marketing opportunity. Even if you don't have a booth, even if you didn't get selected for the one-on-one meetings, the conference is still a very, very strong marketing opportunity. And what you want to do here is understand that marketing is not one way. Marketing is not a one-way process where you communicate to people, you tell them what you want them to do, and then you get them to just follow along. Marketing is a two-way process where you describe the product that you have, you communicate this concept into the market, and then you get feedback from the market, and you use that feedback to adjust and change your thoughts and your ideas. It's good to get verbal feedback. However, one mistake that we made in our first company was that we were getting the wrong feedback. We were going to a pitch, we were going in front of judges, and they were asking us questions about what technology are you using? And they were putting us in a position where we felt like the feedback we were getting was making us build more and more and more technology to make it fancier. And you really have to be careful with that. Not all feedback is good feedback. What you want, the way that you want to think about marketing is that you want to provide an opportunity into the market, and then you want to observe the behavior of that market. So we would go and we would pitch, and we would pitch in front of investors, and they would ask us these questions. And when I started to realize that things weren't going well, was that they would ask us to make it more technically sophisticated. And we thought, okay, let's listen to them, and then let's come back and ask them to invest. We would go, we would do that, and we would come back and say, hey, we did those things that you wanted us to do. What do you think now? Are you ready to invest? And then the answer was no. And it was like, hey, wait a minute. You know, you gave us feedback. You made us spend like 1 or 2 months working on this. And it turns out that you were just kind of like throwing ideas because you are in public, right? So you want to really shorten down the cycles, and you want to provide a clear opportunity where you can provide to a person in the market, and that they give you some behavior that shows that they are actually interested. So what could this be? One very simple way that you can see whether or not people are just trying to give you positive feedback and whether or not they really want to listen more to you is to sign up for email updates. Jacob, do you have a mailing list for your company?
Sorry, I didn't catch that. What you say?
Do you have do you send out email updates with your company? Like
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So one of the easiest things that you can do at a conference like NextRise is to go and ask people, when you meet them, ask them for a business card, and then ask them, hey, can I sign you up to our mailing list? You know? And then based on that, what happens with the mailing list is that almost everybody will tell you, yes, sign me up. But once you start sending them emails, you can track the email opens, right? And this will let you see that people are actually interested in what you have to say. So whether or not they track email opens, if you're working on social media, whether or not they are liking and resharing your posts. So to really know and understand whether somebody is truly interested in your business and whether or not you should listen to their feedback, try to look for these behavioral cues. Jacob, do you have a social media presence? Do you have like LinkedIn or Facebook for your company?
Yeah, we have an Instagram.
You have Instagram. How many followers do you have on Instagram?
About 1K. I
You have
guess.
about 1,000 followers.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, how long ago did you start your company?
Our company established uh 2018.
2018.
So
Okay.
yeah, we face for fourth year of the company next year.
Next year. Great.
Yeah.
And when did you start that Instagram account?
It's about 2 years. Yeah,
About
it's
2
been
years
two
ago?
years now. Yeah.
Okay. So you are not doing kind of like if you have consumer goods, then you can expect much higher numbers. The point is not whether 1,000 followers is a huge number or a small number. The question here is, what is the quality of those followers? So when you make a post, typically, how many likes do you get out of those followers? Do you have that in front of you?
I'm sorry. Connection was bad.
Huh? Oh, what I was saying, so let's do this. Let's take a quick, what is your Instagram, what is your Instagram handle?
Um, just give me a second, please.
Sure.
I will leave it on the chat box.
Yeah, put it
Okay?
in the chat box. Let me take a look at that.
All right.
Um, okay. Something's funky here. I can't. Oh, there we go. Because it's all the way up here. That's why. Did you put it in the chat window? I can't see it. Jacob?
Sorry. Can we just put our our homepage?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Go ahead. Just share with
Yeah,
me your homepage.
Right. 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 This is our blog on the
Okay.
Naver.
All right, great. Let me switch over to that.
This is our website.
Okay, so right now I'm sharing your blog, right? This is your neighbor blog.
Right, there you go. Yeah.
Is that you?
Yep,
The
right.
picture?
No,
Cool.
no.
All right. Okay, so this is your blog. That's great. Now let me switch over because what I really want to see is the website. Okay, here we go. So this is your website.
Right. We get there.
So at NextRise, what is really important when you pitch, I actually really like this clean design of your website. So
Thank you.
when you're visiting NextRise, don't just go and listen to the speakers and don't just focus on your scheduled meetings. Have this website ready on your smartphone. And when you're going around talking to people, pitch to them. Our company is called Ad Company, and this is what we do. And one thing that you are missing here
Mhm.
on this website is a very simple email capture form.
Oh, email. All right.
Because the
For
point, there's
for
this,
the customers.
right,
Yeah.
there is this wrong idea that if you want an investor, you give them a great pitch. And because you gave them a great pitch, they just decide, oh, I like you, I like your company, now I'm going to invest in your company. That never ever happens. It's the same thing with customers. You're not going to just pitch them the first time and they're going to say, hey, this is wonderful, I want to buy now. What you have to be ready to do is that your pitch is the first communication in a cycle of communication. You pitch to them, you follow up, you answer some of their questions, you wait for the right time when they are ready. And finally, when they're ready to make a decision, they remember you and they know and they trust you because they met you a certain amount of time ago, and then they are ready to buy or they are ready to invest. So it never happens. This is the problem with pitch competitions. Pitch competitions make you think, oh, okay, if I am going to be pitching, I'm going to be pitching compared to other people on the stage. And on that same day, at that moment, the judges give me a score and I get the result. That's how pitch competitions work. But that is not how business works. If you want an investor, if you want a customer, if you want a co-founder, if you want a business partner, the only thing that you get after you pitch is that they are open to hearing more information. That's it. You will almost never, ever have a pitch at a conference that on the moment it becomes money for your bank account, whether it's customers or investors. That almost never happens. It does happen sometimes, but that is very rare. I think one investor that is a little bit famous for this is Mark Cuban. If you've ever heard of a company called Box, the founder of Box sent Mark Cuban an email. And he was like, hey, Mark, I really want to, I have this business opportunity. I think it's a space that is being completely ignored. And we need this amount of money. And then, as I recall, Mark Cuban just replied, all right, you got $500,000. I'm copying my staff and they'll get the paperwork ready. So yes, sometimes it happens that you send an email and somebody decides to go for it, or it does happen. You will hear stories, but those are very rare. And the truth about a pitch is that the pitch is just the first step to doing more business. So now we get to the part where we want to do just a little bit of practice. Jacob, I'm going to keep on picking on you. You're going to be my one example for today. So I'm looking at your website right now. Right now, imagine that right now we are at the Next Rise conference. Jacob, what is it that you want to get out of the Next Rise conference? What kind of connections are you looking for?
I think we are looking for like three things: investors and the co-workers
Okay.
and the marketing advanced. Yeah, those
Okay.
three things.
Those three things. So you want to advance your marketing, you want to find people to work with you, and you want to find investors.
Right.
Okay. So let's imagine that we're here at the conference. You're not on the stage. So you don't have the opportunity to show a big presentation where you have 20 minutes. Because you're going to be moving at the conference, the time that you have to deliver a pitch is 30 seconds. You know what I mean? If you want to find an investor, if you want to find a customer, if you want to find a co-founder, you've got to deliver your company pitch in 30 seconds. And you cannot do that with a big fan. You don't have a booth, right? You don't have a big fancy background. You don't have a presentation. You just have like your hands and your smartphone and then like maybe a backpack, right? So the best thing that you can do really is have your website ready on your smartphone and pitch what you're trying to do. So let's suppose that I'm an investor. Jacob, pitch to me. Hi, how are you?
Wow.
Yeah, let's just go for it. Imagine I'm an investor and
Right.
just, it's
Right.
really going to be like, you don't have a scheduled meeting. You're like walking down the hall. You see Han Kim from Maltos and you're like, we would love to have him. I'm going to run over there and I'm going to pitch him before he gets too close to the bathroom door, because if I pitch to him at the bathroom door, now it's awkward, right?
Right.
But it really has to be like that. It has to be like, hey, Han, I saw your presentation and I want to talk to you about my company. Okay. So I'll give you that much. So why don't you go ahead, Jacob, and tell me, hey, Mario, I saw your presentation. I want to tell you about my company. Go ahead. Say that to me.
Right. Um, it's really all of a sudden that you're doing this. So actually I'm not preparing this for so long. So
And that's the point we are doing this today, because if you don't,
right.
I'm not really an investor, you know, I'm not going to invest money in your company. I do know how to talk to
Right.
investors. And
Yeah.
the point of why you're here today is exactly
Yeah,
for this
that's
reason,
what
because you haven't practiced. So we're going to practice a little bit so that the day of the
right.
conference, you're ready to go up to the investors and tell them. So this is why I'm saying, just don't worry that you didn't prepare.
Yeah.
Don't close down on me, just follow along, right? So your opening
Right.
line should be, I just did a big presentation on the stage. I just convinced you that I'm the best investor in the world and I have a great portfolio. You see me, I'm kind of like walking down the hall towards you. And I want you to stop me and say, hey, Mario, I just saw your presentation. Go ahead, say that.
Hey Mario, I just saw your presentation.
Oh, great. What did you think about it? Did you like it?
Uh, yeah, it was great.
Okay, cool. So tell me about you. What do you do?
Um, um, okay. I'm working at the company that our company specialize at architecture design and the 3D technology base. So, wow, it's hard. I lost
And
it.
okay, great. Hey, you know what? I'm really busy right now. But keep up the good work, okay? And I hope you like the rest of the speeches at the conference. Bye. And that's it.
Yeah,
See
that
what I
was
mean?
bad example. Yeah.
But that's okay, because that's the whole point, is to be here and to practice. So now let's try that again. And what we want to do here is that we really, really want to, you know, we want, your pitch has to sound natural. But, you know, one of the reasons why an actor like, I don't know, Tom Cruise makes a lot of money is because they can do the same scene 100 times and make it look natural. Like, the funny thing about a pitch is that you don't get perfect by trying to just be natural without practicing. The way that you get a pitch to be perfect is by practicing it again and again and again and again. You have to like drill yourself. So let's try that same drill. We're going to start all over again. We're going to do the same approach. You're going to interrupt me while I'm walking over. This is how I want you to do your pitch. When I ask you, what do you do? I want you to tell me, what is your position at your company? So what is your position?
I'm an assistant manager.
Okay, you're an assistant manager. Great.
Yep.
And when you say architectural design, that is a very large field. Do you make software for architectural design, or are you like an architectural design agency? Like, tell me just a little bit about, you know, help me understand, what is the product?
Our product is basically is software, and we are trying to make a flat platform that the in the architectural market.
in the architectural market. Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that I don't see on your homepage are screenshots of the software.
Right.
And another small problem that you have in terms, this is just feedback. When you say ad company, it doesn't sound like architecture, it sounds like advertising. You know, like ad tech literally means advertising. So this is going to confuse people a little bit, but that's not a big deal. The point is you have to make it very clear what you do. Okay, so let's try that again. And this time you're going to tell me your name, your position in the company, and you're going to tell me about the product, just like 2 or 3 basic things about what your product does. Ready? Let's try it all over again. So I just finished my speech. I'm walking, you know, down the hall out into the general conference, and you're going to stop me.
Hey, Mario.
Hey, what's up?
My name is Jacob, and I'm assistant manager in the AD company, and I would like to say something to you that your presentation was really good.
Oh, thanks a lot. Well, tell me one thing that you liked about my presentation.
Uh, wow.
See, like, it's great for you to provide that kind of flattery.
Right.
But if you just say your presentation was great and then you cannot tell me one thing about my presentation, then what am I going to
Right.
think? Right?
Yeah, that was
Um,
bluff. Yeah.
it's a bluff, but I did just give a presentation.
Yeah.
So try to think about the presentation that I gave. Was there one thing about my
Mm,
presentation that was interesting to you?
um, that the products give um oh sorry, I lost.
That's okay. I'm just try to think about that for a moment because this is what you have to do for all of the speakers. You have to when they give their presentation, they are thinking about those themes, they are thinking about those topics. Find one that you are actually interested in so that you can engage in the conversation that they are having, engage with their momentum of what they were thinking about that they want to do. And that will open them up for your actual pitch. If you just go cold and pitch, they're going to be like, dude, I'm busy right now, and they're going to walk away. So try to think a little bit about the presentation and the talk that I just gave, and give me one thing that you thought was interesting. Even if you don't really think it's interesting, for right now we can keep the bluff going. Anyways, you're still here. You haven't left the session, so some of this must be interesting to you, right? So just tell me one interesting thing in this last 1 hour that we have been on this Zoom call.
Oh, are you talking to me?
Yeah,
Right?
I'm talking to you.
All right. Oh, just popped up on my mind that you said that Korea is the mm, number one country that government provide a lot of investment for the startup, right?
Right, exactly.
And and actually, I really didn't know that, and that was really good information, though.
Okay, fantastic. Now try to think of a way that you can take that statement from my own presentation and think about how you can use that to guide the conversation to talking about your own company.
Mm,
And with this government issue, in the interest of time, what I can tell you is that a lot of Korean companies are very attractive because they have gotten so far on government money that the investors almost have like a clean slate. So all of this government money, has your company received any government grants?
yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you in the case of this money, and by the way, not just for this money, but you could even use this in other conversations. So I'll give you an interesting conversation point. I believe, So I'm going to take your role. Now I'm working for ad company. And I'm going to say, you know, I just heard your presentation where you were talking about how Korea is great with government support. And I think that that's great too, because we can get very far in developing our product and our company without having to take money from investors. So I think that that gives us a really strong point to offer to investors, right? A really attractive company. But there's a little bit of a negative side. And, you know, you as an investor, this is kind of like the help that I would need from you, that if we only rely on government money, then we get stuck and we don't go out into the market. So right now we are actually looking for investors that will provide us the right kind of funding and guidance so that we can go into the market and not continue to depend on money from the government. You know, have you helped any companies like that before at your investment company?
Yeah, we have two investment companies.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So you see that argument that I just made, which was you take something from the speaker that is somehow connected to your own company, and then you use that to start that conversation. So so do you get the idea, Jacob?
Not so far.
Not so far. Okay, so I was giving you an example. You
Right.
told me that it was interesting that Korea was #1 in the world, right? In providing
Right.
government money. And what
Yeah.
I am telling you is that that has a good side and a bad side. The good side is that you can do a lot of product development on government money.
Right.
The bad
But
side is that
yep.
a lot of companies in Korea, they keep on getting government money and they never actually go out into the market. You've probably seen that, right?
Right.
Right. And so this is what you want to pitch to an investor. Tell them, hey, we're ready to, this government money has been great, but we are ready to move away from this government money. And we really want to talk to professional investors that know and understand how we can structure a company so that we don't depend on the government for financing. Does that make sense?
Yep. Sorry.
All right.
I'm writing on my note.
Sure. So take a moment, write your notes, and then we're gonna do the drill one more time. I'm gonna go back to my position. Tell me when you're ready, and you're gonna stop me again on the way. Do you want to switch the background? Yeah. All right.
Go back to you.
All right, there we go. All right, Jacob, are you ready?
Yep.
All right.
I'm ready, but I'm really sorry that I just forgot what was the topic was.
That's okay. Again, remember, this is just
Yeah,
drill. So we're just practicing.
Yeah.
Think like acting class. So you're going to stop me on the
Right.
hallway and say, hey, Mario, I just saw your speech. I thought it was really interesting. And then we're going to move into the conversation. I'm going to ask you what was interesting about it. And then you start talking about these issues about government money. Okay?
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. All right. Ready? All right. And action.
Hey, Mario. How are
Hey,
you?
how's it going?
I'm good. Um, your presentation was really great, and sorry, I'm not really good at acting them.
No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just keep
But
going. Just keep going.
right, and as you said that the the Korea is the #1 company that government supports a lot to the company just start up, and I think that was I lost again. Yeah.
And you thought that was interesting, right? Okay,
right?
yeah, all right. I'll help you with this. Oh yeah, actually, that was something surprising that Korea is the number one
Mm,
country in the world that provides financial support to startups. But you know that can be a problem, right?
yep.
What do you do? Tell me about what you do.
The government supposed support a lot to the startup. That means the there should just less the venture company exist in Korea, I guess.
Right.
Cause yeah, the venture company they don't invest money to the startup, so the government they just lead at first, I
Right.
guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true at this time. But now, Jacob, tell me about you. What do you do? Are you working for a startup now?
Yeah, I'm working at the startup.
And what do you guys do?
Um, we do the architecture design and the virtual reality technology. So if you are using our the platform that you can customize the design and we have another function that we just put the file of the two CAD, I mean file, and then it transformed to the 3D modeling like automatically. So that is our skill.
Oh, okay. That sounds really interesting. How many users do you currently have?
Actually, we didn't release any
Okay, your product
release
hasn't
our
been.
platform, so we just have just several customer that is mostly the companies.
Oh, so you have like architectural firms are using your.
Yep,
How many companies are using your product?
about three. Yeah,
Okay, cool. All right.
three so far. Yeah,
Let's stop the action. Let me give you some feedback about that. Don't ever say
right.
what you just said, which is we have never released. Just say right
Oh,
now,
okay.
because you do
Yeah.
have customers and you do have a release because you have three customers using it. um, Professional software is very different from consumer software. So if you have like a social networking platform for consumers, then you really want to be talking about 1,000, 10,000, 1,000,000, 10,000,000 users. But when you're dealing with professional software, saying that you have three architectural firms using your software, that's actually pretty impressive. So don't say we haven't released our platform. Just say, at this time, we have three architectural firms who are using our software. What do those firms do with your software?
I'm sorry.
What do those firms do with your software? Why are those three companies using your software?
Um, those three companies, they are a real estate developers and the architectural design company, and they just wanted to see the the space without CAD file. I mean the drawing file. They just wants to see the how really good is the design
Right.
in their real eyes, not just on the drawing on the paper.
Right. So tell me again, how does this work exactly? So they have a CAD design and then they put that into virtual reality. Is that right?
Yeah, basically we usually used CAD file on the architectural industry, and though and we put the design on those file, but the customers they don't I mean they might not imagine how design is. So we just made the visualization on the graphic, I mean the virtual reality, and we can use the VR device or laptop, desktop, and mobile as well.
Okay, I got it.
So I
Yep.
I think yeah. So and our graphic quality kind of good. So I think yeah, those company they just want to see how good design they make.
Okay. Um,
Yeah,
Let me ask you another question. So I'm looking at your I'm looking at your homepage,
right.
and I can see a space. Once I scroll down, there's a short video next to add story, and it shows like a 3D rendering of an architectural site. Is this the
Right.
quality of the graphics that people can expect from your VR?
Well, is up is still upgrading now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So now I understand what your company does. And here's the difficult part, that I'm in this, I'm leading the workshop, and I asked you to tell me about your company at 10 a.m. It's 11:10 now. So from the first moment that I started to find out about your company until the
Right.
time that now I have a clear idea of what your company actually does, it took
Right.
about 1 hour and 10 minutes. I had my own presentation that was 20 minutes, but that's life. You know, people are busy. They've
Mm,
got things to do. So the challenge for you is that you don't have 1 hour and 10 minutes to do this pitch. You've
mm.
got 30 seconds. And if you can master this clear pitch in about 30 seconds, then every 30 seconds, you could be pitching it to another person, another person, another person, another person, another person, until you find a match of one of those things that you're looking for, which is market recognition, or teammates to join your company, or investors that will invest in your company. So let me help you with this pitch. Um, I think it's really important for you to have a very, very clear description of the product. And I think it's really important for you to have a very, very clear description of your product. And I want you to describe your product like this. Um, we have an architectural software that turns CAD files into VR spaces, just like that.
Okay.
Make it very clear and very simple.
Mm.
Our customers input their CAD files, and our system will prepare a VR a VR space. And does this work on what platforms do you work with? Are you working with Oculus, or are you working with Vive, or
Everything. Yeah, we usually using the Oculus, but the other VR device also operatable.
okay, great. So it's that simple. It doesn't even take the full 30 seconds, just like 5 to 7 seconds.
Mm.
At Ad Company, we make architectural software that will turn CAD files into virtual reality spaces, and it is compatible with Oculus, Vive, and other headsets. You know, I think Oculus and Vive are like the two biggest ones, maybe, or PlayStation. I guess I really don't know. I know Oculus is the biggest one, um,
Yep.
but but just give people this idea that it's real, it's a software, it's a product, and it exists. Oh, really? That sounds great. How many people are using it? Don't say, oh, well, we haven't really released yet and blah, 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 blah. Just go right for the kill. Right now, we have 3 architectural companies who are using our software. Oh, and so how can I help you? What are you looking for? That's the next question. And now you tell me, oh, well, you're an investor and I really wanted to talk to you about an investment opportunity. Or if I'm a customer, they're at NextRise, I don't think there will be many people from the architectural space. I don't think you're going to find a lot of customers at NextRise.
Yeah, well, I guess so, but we give a try. Yeah.
You could give it a try, of course,
Yeah.
because somebody might know somebody. Everybody has like a friend who is an architect, or I don't know, a friend or a husband or wife or child or uncle or whatever, right? Or like a alumni from their university, like part of their alumni network. There should be people here who know people in real estate.
Mhm.
But yeah, so on that approach, keep that. We're gonna try our trial again. I'm gonna go to that side of the room and start the conversation very briefly talking about my presentation, but then let's move it quickly and give me that very short pitch, okay? Ready?
Should I pitch right now?
Yeah, we're gonna do our same acting thing. I'm gonna start walking. You're gonna stop me while I'm walking down the hallway, and you're gonna
Right.
get me to listen to you by talking a little bit about my own presentation first. And then you give me that short pitch that we just made for your company. Ready?
Oh, so I speech about your presentation first, then I'll talk about our company. Yeah.
Bingo. Exactly.
But
Ready?
can I ask something?
Sure.
Right? Cause I really don't know what should I talk about your presentation. Which the way of talking
Don't
about
worry about it. Just
presentation,
just
right?
just say that same one that we just talked about, where you're like, oh, you were talking about Korea's #1 for government money, and I thought that was really interesting. You know.
Right.
But you're right. That part is hard. And if you
Yeah,
really want to be successful approaching people at the conference, you really have to listen to what they are saying when they are on the stage.
right. Yeah.
And you have to
So
think what they are saying, how does that connect to you? So that when you approach
mm,
them, you can tell them, hey, you talked about that. That is important to us. I want to work with you. You know, most of the people, the speakers, they really do their best to provide interesting and useful information for the members in the audience, and they really want that the people who are in the audience to consider, they are looking for people to work with from the audience. They always are. They really, really, truly are. So let's try that again. You didn't have a lot of time to prepare today, so let's just use that example from like the government money. Use
all
that to
right.
have a little bit of a conversation with me. You build up some momentum, and then we start talking about your company. Ready?
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna start walking now. Action.
Hello, Mario.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I'm really. It was really great that your presentation and you were talking about the government support to the startup, and yeah, it's really
Oh,
meaning to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you currently in a startup?
Yeah, I'm working on the startup right now, and actually our company also get the government support. The government investment support. So um, our company is basically the architectural design company, and our skill is turn CAD file to VR spaces. Yeah, is that
Okay.
it? Right?
Um, well, don't ask, is that it? Because now you're breaking you just kind of like cut the action. But okay, let's go back.
All
So
right.
you said you take
Yeah.
CAD files and you turn them into VR spaces. Your tone matters. When you said we take
Mm.
CAD files and turn them into VR spaces, that sounds like a question, right?
All right. Okay.
So try that again. Say, in our company, we made software to turn CAD files into VR spaces for architecture. Say that.
Oh, in our company made a software that turn CAD file to VR spaces.
Okay, and how many people are using your software now?
And now our customer have 3 customers. There are
Uh,
3 customers. Yeah,
don't say 3 customers, say 3 companies.
companies. Yeah.
So 3
Okay.
companies are using our software now. Oh, really? That's
Mhm.
kind of interesting. Do you have a demo?
Yeah, we do have demo. If you want to, try, just let me. I will give you my business card then.
How big is the demo? Does the demo fit in a backpack?
No, it is not a product. It is software. So it
Well,
is software. So
yeah, but
yeah,
can you put this software on a laptop
laptop. Yeah, sure.
and
And
and and
mobile.
and and then you connect this to like an Oculus headset?
Everything. Oculus headset and mobile and desktop, laptop, everything.
Okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to get a laptop with a long battery life and an Oculus headset and bring it with you to the conference.
Mm,
This is
right.
how short, what we just did, that is exactly how short your pitch needs to be. And the next question is, do you want to see a demo? And you take out a little bit of alcohol and you take out the Oculus headset and you wipe it down because of the coronavirus so that they see you wiping it
Yeah,
down.
for sure. I will make sure.
And then you
Yeah.
tell them, do you want to try? Like literally take the thing out of your backpack and, you know, like have your demo in your backpack. You're right, it's software, but the software needs a laptop and a headset, right?
Right.
Bring that stuff with you. That's your pitch.
Mm,
Everything else is not interesting right now. The most important thing is this is what we do, and here's a demo. This is what our customers do. They load this up, and now the architects and their clients can view the space in virtual reality to understand what it really looks like.
mhm, right. Oh, thank you for your advice.
Yep, that's it. That's your pitch. And then anything will follow from there. If it's an investor, they might be interested and want to have a follow-up conversation.
Mhm.
I just thought about something that could be interesting to you in your pitch, because I went to Yonsei, and Yonsei did a really big like architectural project to like redesign the whole school. And one of the problems with architecture is that many times the people in the committee who decide and who choose the final design, many times those people do it from a 3D rendering that is like from a helicopter view.
On the top.
Yeah, just like top down, right?
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so the architects optimize their designs to look nice from a helicopter.
Mm,
And the thing is that that is not always a nice space for people to walk through, to inhabit, to work in. And so I'm thinking that your product can actually be really interesting, both for the architect, but also for the client of the architect, to really be able to visualize, not just look, oh, look at how nice this looks like when I ride in on my private helicopter because I'm the director of the center, right? Or how nice it looks like when I look out my window from a high building, but for them to actually be able to navigate inside of the space. I think that is really important. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. That quick, very quick introduction, and then show them a demo. If they say, yes, I want to see the demo, boom. Remember this one? Opportunity, behavior. Don't just say we have an architectural software and can I get your business card? That is a very low quality opportunity and a very low quality behavior. Ask them, hey, would you like to try my product? We are in the middle of a pandemic. People are going to be a little bit like, I don't know about putting on a headset and touching things that other people are touching. So for someone to actually, and that's why you also need to have the alcohol, right? But for someone to actually take your offer to want to look at this, that means they are interested. You give them the opportunity. You want to test this right now in VR, And if they say yes and try it, you get a behavior. And now you know that they are truly interested. And now you could start having a longer conversation with them. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So that's really what it comes down to. Pitching is not this really fancy long thing about competitions and meetings and schedules. It's about being able to offer your company in 30 seconds or less so that people get interested. The ones that are not interested, they move along and you ignore them and you stop wasting time. The ones who are interested, they like it, they try it, and now you move the conversation to the next step and the next step.
So showing off what we have
Exactly.
is better than they asking the business card or like
Oh God,
website
yeah.
or whatever. Yep. Okay.
Show off what you have.
Yeah.
I mean, ask them, and then later ask them for a business card, or they will, even better, if you show them off what you have, and then they ask you for your business card, now you know they are really interested.
All right.
Because
that's
now
true.
they are the ones that are saying, hey, maybe I want to get in touch with you. So the business cards do matter, and you can ask that, but that is a lower quality opportunity and behavior compared to demo
Yep.
and trial.
Yep. Makes sense. Yeah.
And maybe they don't have business cards. So have like a quick form on your website where you can enter their name, number, and email address and capture them for your own system. And then you keep in touch by email, you send them a follow-up email, and you try to do some real business with them after that. Does that sound good? Yep. All right, Jacob, do you have any questions? Jacob, do you have any other questions for now?
No.
Okay.
No questions for yeah.
So then that is the very, very basics of a real business pitch, what we just covered. And for you to further develop this, you're going to have to, think a little bit more about the narrative. Who is the person that you really want to reach? Who is your real customer? What is their buyer's journey? And what is the full use of their software? So you cannot just tell them, in your initial pitch, you can tell them we make a CAD software for VR design. But people are going to want more information. Can you do any buildings? Can you do outdoor spaces? Can you do indoor spaces? Can you do cafeterias? Can you do hospitals? There's going to be a little bit more information that over time people are going to want to hear about what is the type of building, what is the type of space, what are the type of features? Can I change the time of day? Here's an interesting question. In your software, can I change the time of day from daytime to nighttime?
Yep. We have that function.
Cool. Can I change the time of day to track how the sun will look and where the shadows are cast?
Yep.
Fantastic.
It does.
So then that stuff, you want to show it in the demo, and then you can start having conversations about that. So once you give that clear, simple 30-second pitch, now they're interested. Now you can tell them more about how the product works and what kind of features you have. And the important thing is that you do this kind of informal pitch, somebody who was interested will tell you, hey, here's my business card. Can you send me a pitch deck? That would be great. So make sure that you do have a pitch deck ready. You don't want to sit there in that, like you catch them on the way to the bathroom. You don't want to pitch them the whole pitch deck. You catch their attention, you talk to them, and another high quality behavior is that they ask you, can you send me a pitch deck? And you already have that pitch deck ready on your phone as a PDF file, and you just say, yes, I'll send that to you right now. And you are like, you grab their business card and you type it into your email program and you say, hi, here is our pitch deck. I hope you liked the VR demo, and you hit send. So before you have left this interaction, they already received your email with a pitch deck on it.
Okay. That's the point. Right.
They are not going to say at that moment, now we're ready to invest, now we're ready to buy. You want that pitch deck and your email to lead them to a landing page or your website, your homepage for your website. And you want them to be able to take their time and look at the information on your website so that they can decide that you are the type of company that they want to be working with. Video. The video you have right now on your homepage is really, really simple. You don't have time right now to make a new video before NextRise. Over time, you need a longer video that really shows not just the graphical images on the inside, but how does the person use it? How do you go from CAD to uploading into the system to putting on a headset, and then you zoom and show the headset view of how it's tracking the person's head movements inside of the screen, allowing them to walk through, you know, that virtual reality 3D space. And then finally, you need to execute on a marketing plan. So great, you want to do some marketing at NextRise, use that opportunity. You don't have a booth, you don't have a presentation, whatever. Bring your demo, bring your team along, and anytime somebody is trying out your demo in the middle of the conference space, in the middle of the hallway, like at the coffee shop, at the conference space, wherever they are, take a picture, upload it to Instagram and say, we are at NextRise. We are so happy to see people using our software. So don't just come to NextRise and make that a one-time marketing event, but turn it into part of your marketing plan to continue reaching out to people and continue building your brand. Got it? And that is how you follow up. That is the basic elements of how you can, so that is essentially how you can pitch at a conference. Really quick pitch followed by a demo, and then your marketing material is what follows up and provides the customer, the potential customer or the company or the potential investor with all of the information that they need to make a decision. So your pitch is not to convince them to invest if it's an investor. Your pitch is to convince them to come to your website and start looking at all of the other information that you have there, and then get back in touch with you when they are ready to invest. And that's, and if you do that and you do that actively over time, you will find the right type of people. Customers is going to be the most important thing. If you already have those 3 architectural design firms, try to find more design firms like them. Try to get yourself up to like 10 or 20. And once you have that level of users, then it'll become a lot easier to start convincing investors that you have something that is worthwhile and useful in the market. So yeah, so in summary, pitches should be short, not 10 minutes, not 20 minutes. 30-second pitch, convince them to look at a demo, and from that demo have a 3, 4, 5 minutes conversation and get the right behavior and the contact information to then follow up after the conference. Nobody at a conference wants to be sitting down talking to the same person for 30 minutes. Everybody wants to meet as many people as possible. So just go through them quickly and try to talk to at least 200 people on those 2 days. 100 people every day. You know, it's possible. It's doable, but it's hard. And you just got to be pitching all day long. Pitch, 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 pitch. If you are doing like 30-second pitches, you could probably do 10 to 20 in 1 hour. You know, so in 5 hours, you could pitch to 100 people. Not everybody's going to want to see the demo. But yeah, you should be able, at this conference, you should be able to talk to 100 people at least on one single day, and possibly up to 200 people or like 200 people over the course of 2 days. But yeah, all right, cool. So that's it for the workshop that we had planned today. I hope that this was, useful information for you. Jacob, as I mentioned, we do have our own coaching program. So if you are interested, during the conference, we have our own booth. We will be at the US, we'll send you information because we have your email address. We will be at the US booth, so feel free to stop on by. And if you think that you need any more help, we can talk to you more about the coaching that we do. If you need our help with like a marketing project, we could tell you how we work with companies to launch their marketing projects as well. You know, but for now anyways, get ready to do your pitching during the conference and we'll see you next. We'll see you next week in person.
Right, sure.
Bring your demo to me, by the way. I just connected 2 and 2 together. Now I want to see your demo. Can you bring your demo to our booth? That would be really cool.
Yeah, and I will see you there.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
US
perfect.
booth. Yeah, just let me know by the email.
We're also going to be
where you
doing more
are at.
coaching. We're going to be doing one-on-one coaching sessions. So we'll let you know. And those
Yep.
sessions are also free. So if you want to
Alright.
bring like some more problems and have some more stuff, we can look at your demo. I think it's like 30 minutes for each session. So I can sit down, look at your demo, look at your website, your social media, and just give you like a whole bunch of ideas of stuff that you can do for marketing.
All right.
Perfect. Sounds great. All right.
Yep.
Awesome. Great.
Awesome. Yep. Great. And thank you for your practical session today. Yeah.
No, it's my pleasure. I'm glad that you
Mhm.
liked it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right. So have a good one. I'll see you next week.
Yep. Have a
Take
good
it
one.
easy. Yep. Bye-bye.